The truth behind lizard people. The conspiracy theory is based off of the idea that lizard people, also known as reptilians, rule the world today in forms of political, economical, and cultural figures. They started off in ancient times and are actually disguised as human beings. Now, 4% or 12.5 million Americans believe in this theory and believe that reptilian people control politics. Origins. There are two schools of thought on where lizard people came from. The first school of thought is that they evolved on Earth and they left Earth after mastering intergalactic travel, and then later returning millions of years later to rule the world. The second school of thought is that their home planet is in the Draco constellations, and they come to Earth through the planet. Now, in the second school of thought, they believe that they came to Earth thousands of years ago and shared the Earth with people. Then, they decided or were first forced to go undercover and hide themselves from our reality because the human minds were getting too smart and they were evolving. The evidence behind this comes from ancient legends and accounts of gods from another world who inbred with humanity to create the hybrid network of bloodlines. The Old Testament, for example, talks about the sons of gods who interbred with the daughters of men to create the hybrid race, the Nephilim. Before it was translated into English, the passages read, the sons of gods, plural. But the Bible accounts are only one of so many that describe the same theme. The Sumerian clay tablets found in what we now call Iraq in the middle of the 19th century tell a very similar story. It is estimated that they were buried around 2000 BC, but the stories they tell go back long before that. The tablets talk of a race of gods from another world who brought advanced knowledge to the planet and inbred with humans to create hybrid bloodlines. These gods are called in the tablets the Anuki, which apparently translates as those who from heaven to earth came. The ancient accounts tell us that these hybrid bloodlines, the fusion of the genes of selected humans with those of the gods, were put into the position of ruling royal power, especially in the ancient Near and Middle East. These advanced cultures such as the Sumer, Babylon, and Egypt. We see this in the Bible, for instance, with the serpent in the Garden of Eden, a story which clearly comes from Sumerian accounts, as does the story of Moses in the bulrushes, a story told of a Sumerian king long before the Bible. DNA altering. Reptilians altered our DNA so that we do not use our brain to its full capacity, overall putting a limit on our consciousness and making it easier for them to control us. It's scientifically proven that humans cannot use their brain to its full capacity, only parts of it. This is due, as said before, to the reptilian people altering our DNA in the ancient times. The second way is that people with reptilian DNA in them can be possessed by reptilians who live outside of our realm of awareness in the lower fourth dimension. These human-reptile hybrids, considered demigods, were able to gain power in ancient civilizations, such as the Sumer, Babylon, and Mesopotamia. As humankind started to colonize the rest of the planet, these reptiles spread across the earth and became the royal families throughout the world. The evidence behind this is that, in fact, we have reptilian genes inside of our brain. And the reptilian brain is the oldest of the three parts that control the brain. Therefore, it's proven that reptilian DNA and the reptilians have altered our brain and our DNA overall. Hierarchy. There are two classes of reptilians, full-bloods and crossbreeds. Full-bloods are aware that they are reptilians, and can change forms between their human exterior and their reptilian skin. Also, the full reptiles are not wearing an actual physical disguise. Instead, their human shell is created through vibrations that alter the human mind, so that your brain just thinks it's seeing a human. This explains why reptilians are 5 to 12 feet tall but wear a human-sized disguise. They do not actually shrink in size, our brains just register them as normal human size, because changing physical size is considered impossible, and our human brains are conditioned by everyday life to not see that humans change sizes. On the other hand, hybrids or crossbreeds are not aware that they are reptilian and believe that they are humans, but are controlled from the lower fourth dimension to push forth the agenda, known as the New World Order. Among those two types of reptilian classes, there are different races. The top of the pecking order are the Dracos, who are winged albino reptilians. Below them is a race called the Reptoids, who do not have wings and have brown and green skin. These Reptoids are the soldiers and scientists of the reptilians and are responsible for secret government programs and bases. In the class system, the full bloods are higher on the ranking than the hybrids. Bloodline. There are a number of famous people who are suspected of being reptilians. This includes such notable families such as the Rockefellers in the United States, the Rothschild family from Germany, and the British House of Windsor. It is believed that many of the presidents of the United States are also reptilians, including Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, who is higher than Bill in the reptilian hierarchy, Barack Obama, and both Bush presidents. In fact, the Bushes are an integral part of the conspiracy because of how many famous people are related to them. The evidence behind this is shown from many ancestry family trees. George W. Bush and Obama are actually 11th cousins. Dick Cheney is his 9th cousin once removed. Other blood relatives directly related to the Bushes include Abraham Lincoln, Marilyn Monroe, Pocahontas, Hugh Hefner, John Kerry, Vlad the Impaler, Princess Diana. What all of this means is that these people are the hierarchy of the reptilians and are all related to each other overall, and they're the people who are controlling the political scheme of the world. More evidence is that the United States of America has been home to hundreds of millions of people since 1776. Once more, these people came from a huge, amazing, diverse genetic pool, and yet the 42 people, or as of when this evidence was taken, the 42 presidents of the United States, the first 42, have all been related. 33 of those 42 go back alone to Charlemagne, one of the most famous monarchs of what we now call France. On top of this, the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, and the British royal family, the ruling political and economic families of the United States and the rest of the world, come from all of these same bloodlines, proving that every single person who rules the world and in the past and probably in the future are all related somehow, proving that there is reptilian DNA shared throughout the world, and that reptilian people are the ones who are controlling the world at this point. Blood. Blood is very important to the reptilians. For one thing, they actually consume it. On the other hand, they also eat parts of human brains and overall prefer children because they aren't full of poison as adults. It is believed that around 4,800 BC, the crossbreeds emerged from the mountains of Turkey, Iran, Kurdistan, and started the early civilizations of Sumer, Egypt, Babylon, in the Indus Valley. This civilization settling is directly linked to the humans being civilized by the sharing of reptilian blood and the crossbreeds emerging from reptilian DNA sharing. The evidence behind this is that there are markers in some people's physical blood. From the area of the world where the hybrids originated, as I stated before, Turkey, Iran, Kurdistan, that whole area, there are more people with an incredibly rare blood type called Rh and Rh negative. Other than just being extremely rare, when a baby is born with Rh blood, their skin turns blue and is supposedly where the term blue blood comes from, and actually have blue blood. Now, it's not just a coincidence that this incredibly rare blood type, there's just a bunch of it in one area. This proves that the crossbreeds are what started off human civilization, and it proves that where they come from is from that area itself, and they did in fact exist in ancient civilization. Religion and the Bible. If you wish to control a mass population, you have to disconnect them from their true knowledge of who they are and their own infinite potential to manifest their own destiny and control their own lives. You have to persuade them that they are insignificant and powerless so that they will live their lives in accordance to that. This is where religion has been one of the most effective weapons of the reptilian bloodline. It fills people with a fear of judgmental God that tells them that unless they believe in the truth of all that is that can be found in one book or belief system, that they will go to hell or experience other extremely unpleasant consequences. Different religions have also been a wonderful vehicle for dividing and ruling people throughout interreligious conflict. The reptilians created the religions for this reason, and the key players in them do not even begin to realize the part they're playing. They just want the population to believe it so that they will be easier to control. This is why you find so many famous Christian evangelists, for example, are actually Satanists, and their Christianity is just a smokescreen. Further evidence of reptilians is in the Bible. In Genesis, Adam and Eve are cast out to the Garden of Eden because Eve was tempted by a serpent. This serpent represents a change in human and reptilian relationships. Reptilians used to walk the earth, and humans were aware of their existence. At some point, they went underground and hid from humans and started the crossbreeding process. That moment was when they went undercover was called the schism. And that is what the story of Adam and Eve represents. On top of this, the serpent that is in the Adam and Eve story is also shown as a very powerful reptilian. Besides the story of Adam and Eve, another biblical passage is that supposedly references reptilians is Genesis 6:1-4, which reads, "When human beings began to increase in number on the earth, and daughters were born to them, the sons of gods saw that the daughters of humans were beautiful, and they married any of them they chose. Then the Lord said, My spirit will not contend with humans forever, for they are mortal, and their days will be 120 years. The Nephilim were on earth in those days, and also afterwards, when the sons of gods went to the daughters and humans and had children by them. They were the heroes of old men of renown." This is again evidence of interbreeding. The Nephilim is an ambiguous term, but is commonly believed to mean those who have descended or the fallen ones, leading the people to believe that the Nephilim are fallen angels or greater beings that are actually reptilians who interbred with the daughters of humans, and their offspring became the hybrid human reptilians. Finally, in the book of Revelation, Satan is described as a serpent and a dragon, is cast down to the earth with his angels. Satan is actually a Draco, and is the serpents that are cast down with him are reptoids. Snake imagery throughout the world. Other evidence is the fact that civilizations throughout the world have reptilian gods or worshipped reptile beings. One notable example is a figurine that was found in the area that was Mesopotamia and is now modern-day Iraq, and is from the time period just before civilization called the Ubaid period, 6500 BC to 3800 BC. It is a statue of a humanoid snake creature holding a baby. Besides this pre-civilization relic, there are stories of reptile gods and demigods found throughout ancient history. Just to name a few, Mesoamerica had a winged serpent god called Quetzalcoatl. Hindus had a god called Naga that was half human and half cobra. Apep was the Egyptian god of chaos and also is depicted as a cobra. This does not even include how many different cultures throughout the world have stories of great reptiles such as dragons and also have reptiles in their religions. These stories of reptile gods and dragons originated from when reptilians operated in the open before the schism. Throughout many cultures, there are stories similar to Adam and Eve where reptile creatures are the gatekeepers of special places, such as the Garden of Eden, or they give spiritual knowledge to humanity. Goal. The biggest question surrounding the reptilian conspiracy theory is why would they do it? One belief is that they need our gold to help them stabilize the atmosphere on their own planet. Another theory is that they just have a need for power and control and they enjoy living their lives as rulers. A third incredibly metaphysical explanation involves reptilians living in the lower fourth dimension. Essentially, one of the main things that reptilians do is try to cause human suffering, to ensure that there is constant conflict. The reason they do this is that because the reptilians actually consume negative energy like jealousy, fear, and anger as a source of food. How to spot a reptilian. There are 14 major ways to spot a reptilian. The first way is a predominance of green or hazel eyes that change color like a chameleon. The second way is piercing eyes, such as a chameleon or a lizard. And a third way is true or reddish true hair. Now, all three of these ways to spot it out, the predominance of the green eyes, the piercing eyes, and the true reddish hair, come from the shared lizard DNA. Now, this would be seen in crossbreeds and Dracos in human skin, as these are the main traits of being a lizard in human skin. A fourth way is a sense of not belonging to the human race. Now, this is more seen in crossbreeds, where they do not actually know that they are a lizard, but their lizard thoughts come out and they believe that they're not really part of the human race. A fifth way is low blood pressure. As humans are, not humans, lizards are cold-blooded. Humans who are crossbred or Dracos would have low blood pressure. The next way, deep compassion for fate or hate of mankind, pairs with the sense of not belonging to the human race. It's really the same idea. Keen sight or hearing, this pairs with more of the DNA of having lizard DNA inside your brain. Psychic abilities, this pairs with ESP. Now, ESP is a scientifically proven theory called extrasensory perception, or ESPER. It is also known as the sixth sense. It includes reception of information not gained through the recognized physical senses, but sensed with the mind. So the next way to spot a reptilian is unexplained scars on your body. This is through the transfer of becoming a reptilian to human, or from just doing reptilian things. The next way is UFO connections as well as alien contacts. Now, the reptilians move from planet Draco to the Earth. So therefore, connections with UFOs and alien contacts would only make sense as they're contacting with their own families back on the planet. The next way, capability to disrupt electrical appliances, goes back with ESP and psychic abilities. And the last one, love, space, and science. This compares more to the crossbreeds who run the major science projects throughout the world. So, you really cannot tell who is a reptilian and who isn't. So by using these 14 major things, you can find out who is a reptilian. You myself might not even know if you are a reptilian, or if you know someone who's a reptilian. But using these 14 ways, you can easily prove if you're a reptilian or not.